Welcome everybody out there in webinar land. My name is Dr. Lee Potvin. My pronouns are she and her. I'm really proud of Kelsey. She's one of my students and has she, her, and her pronouns too. And anyway, we're really glad for you to be here tonight for us to talk to you about outdoor recreation, parks, and tourism at Lakehead University and the Thunder Bay campus. We are the longest running and largest wilderness-based outdoor recreation program in the country. And we're really proud of our program and its history and all of our students and alumni out there in the world. Some of you probably know those folks, and if you don't, we hope to give you a bit of a flavor of what our program has to offer you and the community that you will be a part of within this program. It is also one of the flagship programs of Lakehead University's Thunder Bay campus. It's something we're known for and that the broader campus community is quite proud of. And so, yeah, as I said, I'm Dr. Lee Potvin, she, her. I'm the director and an assistant professor of the program. And I come from an interdisciplinary research background. I'm broadly interested in equity and social justice. And also teaching is very important to me. High quality teaching, teaching that's student-centered. I really like to get to know my students and provide lots of opportunities to engage with both the real world and then the ideas that are driving the practices that we are doing. So that's a little bit about me. I think that I will pass it on to Dr. Julie Rosenthal, because you'll be hearing more from me over the next half an hour.
Thanks, Lee. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Julie Rosenthal. I also use the pronouns she and her. I am an assistant professor in the program, and I teach a number of courses through each of the years of the program. And I'm also an alumnus of the program, or an alumna, excuse me, of the program. And I graduated from the program back in 2001. And I came back to teach in the program starting in 2005. So I've really seen a lot of changes through the program and seen a lot of really amazing people come through. My area of background and specialty is in parks and protected areas management. So I've had experience working with Ontario Parks, I've had experience working with Parks Canada, and I try to bring those experiences into some of the classes that I teach, as well as I have a background in experiential education. And so I try to make a lot of the courses and the subjects that I teach sort of done in a hands-on kind of way, so you can learn the practice and the theory at the same time. So thank you for joining us. And I'll pass on the opportunity to speak to Kelsey now.
Hi, so my name is Kelsey Maylant and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a fourth year student of ORPT and I will be graduating this April with HOBR and a minor in sociology. I'm very excited to share my experiences in ORPT. Some of the best years of my life have been here, and I really hope that will come across in this presentation.
Great, so before we get into our talking pieces, we thought we'd showcase a video that was produced by a second-year student in our program that really gives us a flavor of what the program's all about. So we thought we'd start off with a bit of a trailer of what to expect, and then we'll fill in some of the details as we progress through our showcase today.
Most about living in Thunder Bay is the amount of outdoor opportunities that we have. No matter where you turn, you have an opportunity to be outside and explore.
Someone told me that you should find something you love and then learn how to get paid for it. So this was the perfect opportunity to find that.
Okay, So I hope that gives you a little bit of a sense of what to expect in the program. One of the things that we wanted to highlight is that the School of Outdoor Recreation, Parks and Tourism is quite unique in Canada. As Lee mentioned in the introduction, it's the longest running program of its kind in Canada. The first graduates of the program got their Honours Bachelor of Outdoor Recreation in 1982. And for the past 4 decades, we've really been at the cutting edge of the outdoor industry, evolving and adapting the program to meet emerging trends in technology, changing societal needs. And our program graduates really end up being leaders in the field because they've become really well-trained, qualified outdoor professionals. And one of the things that really, I think, makes our program quite unique in comparison to other programs is the breadth of subject areas that are covered through the Outdoor Recreation, Parks and Tourism program. So we cover things like outdoor leadership, risk management, group dynamics, protected areas management, tourism entrepreneurship, experiential education, therapeutic recreation. And what's really great about this range of subjects that you get exposed to through the program is that a lot of students come to our program because they love the outdoors, they want to have a career in the outdoors, but they're not always sure what that's going to look like. And so in your program, as you get exposed to the courses every year, you get exposed to a number of different subject areas that can really spark a passion in you and lead you towards a career path that you might not have even known exists within the outdoor field. So that's a really, I think, a strength of our program that we really are quite proud of. Another aspect of our program that we really have an emphasis on in our teaching is balancing practice with theory. So you learn not only a number of really great technical and interpersonal skills, but you also learn the reasons why we do the things we do. So coming out of our program, students have a really solid foundation of the theory as well as the practice of the outdoor industry. And so those are 3 really key areas of our program that make us distinct from other programs of its kind. So I'm going to pass it on now to Lee, who's going to talk about Thunder Bay.
Yeah, I was excited to have the chance to talk to you about the location here. I think from the introductions, we learned that everyone on the call or everyone watching the webinar tonight is not from Thunder Bay or Northern Ontario, Northwestern Ontario. So with that in mind, I will share with you that this is just absolutely the most spectacular, one of the most spectacular parts of the country. And I'm hugely biased because I was born and raised here and have since recently returned home. But I'm here by choice, not by chance. And I think that it is really an unsung place in the country. It's spectacularly beautiful. And from an outdoor recreation perspective, there are very few things that you are not able to do here. You can do everything here, and it is close, and it is pretty inexpensive compared to other parts, very inexpensive in many ways. And not only are you on the largest freshwater lake in the world and the largest Great Lake, but there are also just like thousands of lakes, rivers, waterfalls, rock cliffs, like everything. Everything is here. It's just, it's truly unbelievable. So I think that it's no surprise to me that this program has been in existence for so long and has thrived for so many decades in this particular place on this territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe people. It is just totally woven. The theory and the practice that Julie just talked about to me is totally woven into the lands and the landscape here. And I see it as, you know, we talk a lot about responding to community and responding to learners and wanting to connect with the local communities where we live and work as universities, and ORPT has that baked right into it. And so many folks like yourselves find out about the program and decide that they want to come up here and experience this landscape and experience this program. And I honestly don't think there's a better way to experience Thunder Bay than through ORPT. So, and we're using that acronym, sorry, Outdoor Recreation, Parks and Tourism. We shortened to this ORPT acronym. So you'll hear us say that a lot. I think that that's probably all I want to say about location, but I just think that the access piece is really important. You can be pretty much anywhere on a lake, on a river, in the woods in a 15-minute, 30-minute drive in all directions in Thunder Bay. So it's phenomenal. The other huge opportunity that outdoor recreation, parks and tourism presents for you as an undergrad is a double degree, many double degree options. So you heard Kelsey talking about being in the HBOR stream, which is at the top, the Honors Bachelor of Outdoor Recreation. And we also have all of these subsequent pairings that you can see on this slide. So you can do a double degree in outdoor recreation and geography, history, gender and women's studies. You can pair it with a BSc in natural science, or a Bachelor of Education as part of the concurrent education program, which feeds into a unique outdoor and experiential based Bachelor of Education program as well. And then another really compelling and interesting option is the concentration in nature-based therapeutic recreation. So there's really just so many directions that you can take and tailor your degree within this program, and that helps shape what your next steps look like. So whether which we're going to talk about pathways later in our presentation, but you have a lot of possibilities to adapt your outdoor recreation degree with other transferable, employable skills. So yeah, you just have so many choices in this program. I'm not sure who's next.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the concentration in nature-based therapeutic recreation that Lee was mentioning. I'm not personally in this course, but I have taken all of the courses because I think they're amazing and it's really connected with what I want to do in my life. But one amazing thing that this program offers is it really gives you an in-depth look at what it is like to be a therapeutic recreation specialist and what your opportunities are with that. So there are 3 mandatory courses you have to take in the ORPT department, as well as some courses outside, including psychology and anatomy. And the 3 courses within ORPT focus around the who of specialized and inclusive therapeutic recreation, the how, and the why we do what we do. And I think it's really important to understand how all those pieces fit together. One of the classes, the kind of the how, is the standards of practice in therapeutic rec. And what it does is it gives you a really practical look and practical application of what it means to be a therapeutic recreation specialist. So you're doing activities like you're creating program plans, you're creating case notes that are just like what you would do in the field. And so like Julie was talking about that theory and practice, this is putting it into real life application. And the skills you're gaining there, you're going to use in the industry. And it's just so great to be able to try out these, to practice them, to learn, to fine tune your skills, and to come into the field with such great knowledge.
So Kelsey was just mentioning some of the courses that you would be taking if you were choosing the concentration in nature-based therapeutic recreation. And there's lots of ways that you can specialize within the program, but what we want to do is set a solid foundation within your first year so that everyone's starting at the same stage. So there are students who come to our program who have a lot of outdoor recreation experience, and there are some people who come to the program with very little experience, but they do have a passion for the outdoors. And so we work with that range of levels of skills in our first year to get everyone to the point where we're starting on the same foundation and we move forward from that point. So one of the key things that happens in first year, and the first 2 courses that you take are very experiential. So one of them is called Land Relations, and that course is about orienting you to the Thunder Bay area, understanding what the geology is like, understanding what the plant life is like, understanding what the culture is like in this area. And it's giving you an understanding of not only the location that we're in, but trying to foster an appreciation for all of the things that make up this area as such a unique location, and gaining an appreciation for the ways that this land has been cared for generations by the Anishinaabe people. The course was actually partially taught by Anishinaabe elder in conjunction with one of our faculty members, to try and give you an authentic experience of what the cultural significance of this land is like. So land relations really helps to give us a basis, because we do a lot of things in the outdoors, but it's important for us to appreciate and have a strong connection to the outdoor landscapes that we spend time in. So land relations is all about that. It includes both in-class learning as well as in the field learning, and students get to see, and even on campus, you know, Lee was talking about all the wonderful natural areas we have in Thunder Bay. Right on campus, we have a river. Right on campus, we have a reservoir. Right on campus, we've got forest areas and pathways and trails. We often see deer tracks on campus, and it's just an amazing place to be immersed in the outdoors while still being on campus. And so land relations takes advantage of that and exposes us to just the natural areas right on campus, as well as in the broader community. So there are a number of field trips that go to different locations within the community to allow you to get connected to Thunder Bay, because I see a lot of you are from Southern Ontario. I was from Southern Ontario, and I noticed, Lauren, you're from Calumet. I grew up in Palgrave, so you probably know where that is. So I grew up in Southern Ontario. I didn't know anything about Thunder Bay. Most of our program participants are from Southern Ontario. And so this is a really great way to connect with this new environment early on in your career in our program. Outdoor, oh yeah, you're right there. I see that in the chat, Lauren. So Outdoor Skills and Theory is also a course that's offered in the fall semester. And every week you have some in-class experiences where you're learning about the outdoor skills that you're going to be then practicing later in the week, with some full day experiences where you're learning paddling techniques, you're learning stove lighting techniques, you're learning all the skills, knot tying, all of that stuff that you're going to be applying through the outdoors in the rest of your program. So it's really setting a strong foundation. And for those students who have a little bit more skill, it's an opportunity for you to work with those students who are new to the field of outdoor recreation, and help to bring everyone's skill level to a starting point where we can then move forward and get you to the point of being a competent outdoors person through the program as you progress. In the winter semester, we have a little bit less time outdoors. It's a little bit colder, but we do have still a lot of hands-on learning that happens in the classrooms. So one of the courses that you would be taking is Foundations in Outdoor Recreation. And that's where you get introduced to the range of topics that I was saying that we cover. You get sort of exposed to that range, as well as the key theories that you're going to be talking about later on through the program. And as this stuff, sort of as you go through the program, all of these connections start getting formed, and everything starts coming together in a way that's just like aha moments one after another, which is really great to see when students in fourth year are saying, oh yeah, I remember learning that in first year, and I see how it gets applied in this new situation here. So Foundations is that kind of getting everyone a solid foundation from which to keep progressing through the program. Another course that you take in first year in the winter semester is Group Dynamics in Outdoor Recreation, Parks and Tourism. And no matter what you're going to do in the outdoors, you're going to be working with people. You're going to be working in group settings. And so Group Dynamics is really giving us an understanding of how groups work, and how to be a great participant in a group, how to be a great leader within a group, and how to resolve things like conflicts. How do you make difficult decisions in different scenarios? And so it's a really interesting course, and it's very practical based. We have a lab that goes is associated with that class. And when you think lab, you're probably thinking lab coat and test tubes and stuff. But our labs are actually where we're experiencing group dynamics. So we give you initiative tasks to work through. We give you problems to solve and decisions to make. And you kind of work through that process and see how the group works by being in a group through these experiences. So that's how I mentioned, like, there's a lot of theory and practice at the same time. It all kind of comes together through the programs and the courses that we're teaching. So those are the 4 key outdoor recreation classes that you would take in first year. And depending on your program specialization, there would be other courses that you take. Everyone needs to take an English class that will help you get set up for academic writing and all the skills that you're going to need throughout the rest of your career. But if you're choosing the double degree with natural science, you might have to have some biology courses that you take. If you're taking the natural or the double degree with history, you might have some history courses that you take. So depending on which of the program options you take, that's what your other courses are going to be. But these 4 courses are all going to be with your other first year students. And there's a lot of group interaction, and that allows you to make friends right away. So I'll be talking about that later on in the presentation here. But here we have an example of some group work that was done in group dynamics. And the students were volunteering for the Sleeping Giant Loppet, which is this huge ski race that happens every year. 800 participants come, and it was a chance for the students to volunteer and contribute to the community, but also see how a huge group and how volunteers end up being utilized in the outdoor industry to put on such an amazing event. So it's a way to connect and give back to the community all the way from first year. And people end up going back to the Loppet as participants year after year. So it becomes a bit of a tradition that starts in your first year.
So like Julie was mentioning, we use so much of the landscape that we have in Thunder Bay to be a part of how we learn. You know, we have those classes that are outdoors. We learn from the land and how we can use it as a co-educator and a co-creator in our learning and understanding of knowledge and how to kind of use that in the future. But we do, of course, have in-classroom time as well. But our in-classroom time does still look quite different compared to other university courses. It's not just a lecture for multiple hours where an instructor is speaking at you. It's really an involved process. We do lots of different activities. We have discussions. We have opportunities to challenge what our professors think and really, you know, gain positive discussion and new ideas that propels the industry and propels what we're going to do in the future in the industry. So it's really about using the combination of it. And then like Julie was saying, that community service learning aspect that we have within the degree. So like the Loppet, or we've had classes that have gone to work in long-term care facilities. They've gone to volunteer with a whole bunch of different organizations within the community, and to really gain that perspective of both the community and also how it connects and how it helps us grow. That's what's so unique and so amazing about this program.
We just had a question about the class sizes, and I thought it might be appropriate to address it at this point. So we can have, you know, anywhere between, like, sometimes a very small class in the 4th year would be maybe like 8, 10, 15 students. In some of the first year courses, they're a little bit larger. Biggest class I've ever had is probably about 50 students, but that's unusually large for the outdoor rec classes.
Yeah, typically our courses are coming in at a maximum around 25 to 30, and the 40 to 50 range would be a bit more of an exception. Some of that has to do with safety, for example, with field-based courses, but most of that has to do with a desire to sort of have that closer relationship between professors and students. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about equipment, and Kelsey is going to bail me out if I make any mistakes. But the thing I really wanted to emphasize here, you can see a list of some of the things that that we like to encourage students to bring. But we really want to emphasize to you that if you don't have, if you feel like equipment is a barrier for you, please don't consider it a barrier. We have a depot with a ton of specialized equipment, and we encourage students to have the basics. You can see here rain gear, compass, hiking boots, a backpack, the 10 essentials system, which you'll learn about in OSAT 1. But you don't need to have all of the gear that you see people wearing here to participate fulsomely in this program. And all of the equipment that we do have, you have access to as a student through your courses. And so things like, you know, snowshoes, cross-country skis, we have kayaks and canoes. The only thing that we don't tend to loan out to people outside of classes are our ropes, and that's a safety related issue. So equipment is really important. It's the tools of the trade, but it's also, we don't also want you to think that you have to go and sort of spend thousands of dollars on outdoor gear to be a part of this community. We will provide you with the specialized stuff that you need or guidelines about what you should be bringing with you if it's going to be required. So, so that you can sort of enjoy the outdoors safely and feel comfortable doing so. Oh, and here's a video about the depot.
Hi, my name is Colleen Hutchison. I'm a 4th year student in the ORPT program. I work at the Equipment Depot. The Equipment Depot is a gear lab for students to rent gear ranging from water-based sports to winter activities. In various ORPT classes, you can borrow gear from the depot to help aid you in outdoor adventures or trips. That can range from sleeping pads to tents to cooking equipment to snowshoes. We have everything that you need.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about our student society. We do have one. It's a great opportunity. It's called Outdoor Recreation Student Society, or as most of us tend to call it, ORSIS. And it's a great opportunity for students to connect, and it kind of builds the bridge between faculty and the university and students. So it's our student voice in what happens within the program. They provide quite a few different opportunities. One of them is they provide courses like Wilderness First Responder, which is what you see in the picture here. They get to practice simulations and what does it look like for any kind of first aid needs within the outdoors. They've done courses like CPR and first aid, paddling certifications, and just kind of whatever the students are asking for, ORSIS figures out a way to provide that for the students for courses. They also provide great opportunities like job fairs to help with like networking. They have a job website board that students and alumni can go check out and utilize to connect with employers. Or if they're an employer and they're looking to connect with students or recent graduates, it can be used that way as well. They're part of the people who provide our outdoor rec gear, which you can see in the shirts are their most recent gear. And then they also have contests like creating and kind of using that artistic capabilities that lots of our students have in creating our new gear. And you can see up in the top corner, that's our brand new sticker that's coming out just this week. And that's created by a student. And so it's really about the student voice through this. And one of the great opportunities about ORSIS is the development fund. So the development fund is something that students can apply for to get funding for either a course, like a certification. It could be a trip, it could be a piece of gear. There's a wide range of things that it could be that you can apply for it, and they will cover 1/3 of the cost of that course or certification or whatever it may be. And then from that cost that they've covered, the students then return to the community and give back in a way, and it's what's called a deliverable. So opportunities like providing, videos for our film fest, or providing interview opportunities where students can practice, or resume building. It could be things like providing help with, editing a paper or something like that. It's whatever the strength is of the student that's applied for the development fund. It's how they can give back to our community and really continue to build that strong sense of community within the student society. And anyone that is a current student can apply to be on the board. Nominations happen in March with our elections, and then it's a 1-year term. There's quite a few different board opportunities from, again, using your strengths. You might be an organizer and want to be the president. You might be really good with social media and be the information coordinator. You might be really good at organizing social events and be our social coordinator. To do a variety of different activities throughout the year. This year, of course, everything virtual, but we're still able to connect with the outdoor recreation parks and tourism community. And that's what's really important to ORSIS and what makes us so unique and such a strong community.
Can I just add something about ORSIS very quickly, which is to say that as the director, I do teach courses on top of the other stuff that or in addition or included in the things that I do teach courses. But if I have a question related to students, something students want to see, or I'm looking for direction in terms of where we're going to develop some kind of program or some kind of extracurricular opportunity, I'm going to reach out to the ORSIS president or the folks that are on the board for ORSIS. So I have regular conversations. They attend our faculty and staff meetings monthly and give us an update. And so this is an opportunity where we work really closely, not only in the classroom, but also in terms of decision making and goal setting and community building, across our organization. So it's a really important, I'm thrilled in my role to have a student society so that we have some folks we can go to and ask questions. So ORSIS is such a valuable part of our community.
And continuing with our sense of community is just what you do gain by being a part of ORPT. And in first year, like Julie earlier mentioned, you really get to know your entire cohort very quickly. Right away in those first few classes, you're being put into different groups. You're starting to start discussions. You're doing activities like knot tying and lighting stoves, and you're getting to know the people around you. And what's so great is that in ORPT, everyone has something in common. We love the outdoors. We may love it in very different ways, but because we have that beginning, that start of something in common, you can make friends so easily and so quickly. Within the first month, you know everyone in your cohort. And I don't know other programs that you get that opportunity. I know Lee has some points of kind of coming into the community and what it feels like and how quickly you can be embraced by it.
Thanks, Kelsey. So I am a fairly new faculty member and director to the School of Outdoor Recreation Parks and Tourism. Being from Thunder Bay, and I left to do my undergrad, but a lot of my friends have done this program, or my friends as adults I learned did this program. They first came here from Southern Ontario, did the program, and have stayed. And so I feel like I've been beside the ORPT community for most of my adult life, and now I'm really in it in my current role. And I would say that, as Kelsey sort of indicated, I have been welcomed wholeheartedly by the faculty, staff, and students. I had students, including Kelsey, email me to welcome me to the program, which as a faculty member was so lovely to be able to know that there were people out there who cared that I was here. And so I think that that's something that that this is very unique to this community and this program. Lakehead University, I think, is quite focused on students and wanting to have small classes and that sense of connection. And I think that ORPT really is a wonderful example of that. So yeah, I think you will find very quickly, you will find your people, and then you'll be able to go out and do fun things with them. And yeah, I just think it's a wonderful community to be a part of, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. And Julie, as you've already heard, is a graduate of our program who's now taught in the program for a number of years, and she's just such a wonderful rock star asset to the program. So I think she's got some things to say about that community too.
Thanks, Lee. I think one of the things that, we do have, you kind of see this flavor of our interactions. This is kind of what our classrooms are like too. The students talk to us, and aren't afraid to, you know, have a side conversation and just check in and you know, pop in the office and see how things are going. We have informal Zoom sessions right now just so we can actually just have coffee at the same time with our students. We are on a first name basis. I mean, we introduced ourselves as doctors, but I don't remember the last time anyone called me doctor. We don't insist on that because we cultivate a really more of a family-like setting in our learning environment. And that allows us to sort of recognize that we're all contributing to each other's learning. And one of the things about, you know, this ongoing connection, it's not even just between students or between students and faculty, between faculty, but the alumni, the graduates of the program are also part of this big community. And so if you say that you graduated from outdoor rec or you're currently taking outdoor rec, someone will say, oh, well, do you know that person? Or I took this program way back when. And it's the sense of pride that people have. And I remember coming from Southern Ontario, and I didn't, you know, I only knew one other person who was in the program. But on my first day, I remember walking through campus and there's a bunch of people playing ultimate frisbee, and they're like, hey, do you want to join? And I'm like kind of looking around seeing like, who are they talking to? And they were talking to me, and I didn't know how to play ultimate frisbee. And I was like, I don't know how to play. And they're like, no, it's okay, come on in. And so I just, you know, and I did a terrible job of playing, but it didn't matter. Everyone wanted to meet one another. And the people that I met that day playing ultimate frisbee have become my best friends and still are some of my best friends. And we've been to each other's weddings. I've seen them have children. We've seen each other's careers grow, and we even still call on one another with like career-like questions. I have a friend who's been working for the Conservation Authority and had a question about a species at risk. So I called her up and just said, hey, you know, what's going on? And I was able to get the answer to my sort of professional question, but still had a chance to connect to this community of friends that really is a very strong network that starts from day one of your experience in the outdoor recreation, parks, and tourism.
I just also want to add that there's just such a wonderful testament to the commitment and pride that the alumni have for this program. And this year that has been in the form of refurbishing a Voyageur style canoe. And that has come and been paid for exclusively through our alumni donating money to want to see this huge historic canoe rebuilt so that we can do expeditions in this very unique and it's very, very unique canoe. And one of our technologists, Rodney, has been working on it all year. And it's just such a phenomenal example of the community, the outdoor rec community, that tens of thousands of dollars have been donated to this project. And we're really excited about it. So hopefully you'll see that Voyageur canoe on the water and get to be in it during your time here.
So to kind of continue on with our alumni, one thing that we get asked quite often, I know my parents asked me, what are you going to do with this degree? And there's so many options, and there's such a wide range of careers that our alumni are in right now, and that the industry is still growing and it's still diversifying, and there's going to be, you know, new jobs added by the time that you're like me, a fourth year graduating. There's going to be new jobs added to this list and new opportunities. But we have lots of people that head into parks, both in national parks, provincial parks, kind of private conservation parks careers. We have lots that head into education, especially with that concurrent or the double degree option in concurrent education. We've got kind of our traditional classroom teachers, which even then, calling them a traditional classroom teacher, they all, you know, revert back to that experiential education component that they learned in ORPT. They use that in their daily classroom. We've got lots of people in, you know, forest schools and that are outdoor educators and that really use the land as a co-educator, which again are skills we learn in first year. And then, like Julie, we've got alumni that are university and college professors as well. In the tourism side of things, we've got quite a few business owners that are, you know, sled dog operator or sled dog travel operators, heli ski tourism, sea kayaking, just such a huge range of activities in the tourism industry. And then of course we have lots of alumni that are also guides in that industry, or that work for a lot of those different organizations. And then kind of on the more outdoor rec side of things, we've got therapeutic recreation specialists. We have people that work for municipal and provincial recreation programs and our directors. We have summer camp directors as well. Just a huge range of different opportunities for you to head into and to move through. One of the great aspects of this degree is the skills that you're going to learn. Yes, you're going to learn those practical skills of how to tie a knot and how to paddle a canoe and things like that. But the skills that are way more valuable are those group dynamic skills, those communication skills, those leadership skills. Those transfer anywhere you go, and you're going to use them every single day. Those skills are what make this program so valuable and so important in our industry and in any industry, really. Like both Julie and Lee kind of mentioned, one of the things with our alumni is they hear that you're an outdoor rec graduate or student, you can get that job. They know how hard you do work and what you learn. They know how valuable this program and degree is. And yeah, there have been many people who have gotten jobs just because this is their degree and this is their schooling. Another great thing about career opportunities is being a student and having career opportunities. So I myself am actually part of the work study program, and I work for Julie doing things like this and other forms of recruitment and activities, and just a wide range of options. But we've got students that work in our sewing lab and students like you saw in the video, Colleen, who work at the depot. And so it's really great to be able to, have a job while you're going to school, but something that's really applicable to the industry, which is really great. And to learn from inside the industry, you see connections of, oh, I learned that in class and I'm going to use it today right away in this job. And I think that's just really important and really, really great with this program.
Wonderful. I also would like to say that Kelsey is a rock star too, in case you're not picking that up. And before I sort of wrap us up, I do want to say that one thing that I have noticed in the broader Thunder Bay community is the impact that students from the ORPT program have on the community, in that so many develop such a passion and connection to this land and this place that they do choose to live here after their undergraduate years are done, and find their place here teaching, or many become entrepreneurs because of this beautiful overlap of the skills that they have, the creativity with which they think, and their desire to sort of mobilize those things. So a lot of our graduates are farmers in this local area, and other, have other businesses, pottery businesses, artists. Like, it's really phenomenal and creative and dynamic, the folks that graduate from this program. So we hope that you'll ask us questions. We tried not to talk for too long so that you have the opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. We're so thrilled to welcome you into the program and look forward to being able to learn with you and show each other some of the things that we know. Yeah, we're just totally thrilled. And so I hope that we kind of were able to balance with you all the options that you have with this degree, really emphasize that experiential learning that you get to do, that hands-on learning. So you're not just reading the books, you're going out in the world and you're doing it. And then also this amazing and wonderful community that you can, that you can be a part of. So you can see all of our socials there, Instagram and Facebook, and you can connect with us by email. And it probably will be one of us that responds to you in those platforms. And I do want to actually thank Julie and Kelsey for all the work that they've done to put this stuff together and to sort of welcome me on the team as well. So I think is that everything, folks? Kelsey and Julie, is that hit all the highlights, and we can kind of move on to questions? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I noticed that that Alex had actually added that there are a number of exchange opportunities that students can take advantage of in the third year. So he mentioned that there are exchange programs with schools in Australia and the UK that offer similar programs to ours, where they can get credits in their third year that would transfer back to Lakehead University. There's also a number of students in the past couple of years who had gone to Norway on exchange as well. So they come back to the program having really amazing perspectives, having taken advantage of those international opportunities. Likewise, we also have international exchange students come to our program who really enrich the classes that they take part in by providing a new perspective on the courses that we're teaching too. So it's a nice community that we have within ORPT, but also with partner universities as well.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I saw that question come up in the chat about if we end up, despite our best plans, and the plans of the university right now is that we are going to be on not online, in person in the fall. So we will be in face-to-face classrooms, and the majority of our classes, it's my job as the director to schedule with them, and the majority of our classes are face-to-face. And will be in the fall. So, but if, because we are living in a world of ifs and of having backup plans, should we be in an online environment, what our instructors have done to adapt to the COVID pandemic context has been phenomenal. And really what they're doing is they're balancing delivering the content that you would normally, because all of our classes that have practical skills, like our Outdoor Skills and Theory 1 has an in-class component and then also a field-based component. So there's your theory and your practice. So the theory gets delivered online and the practice does happen outdoors, but with modifications appropriate, protective equipment, social distancing, and small group sizes in order to respect and abide by the COVID-19 protocols. So that is how our outdoor or face-to-face skill-based courses have run over this past year. There have been a couple of tweaks that happened during the first year of the pandemic. I don't anticipate that those tweaks will happen next fall. So you'll still get that outdoor experience. It just might be that you travel to the site differently, or the fire building, which happens in your outdoor skills. I keep wanting to say Ontario. Outdoor Skills in Theory 2 classes about winter-based outdoor skills. So it might be that your fire building lab happens on campus instead of at a site that you have to travel to. But again, I do want to emphasize that our university administration is, predicting that we are going to be face-to-face in the fall. I hope that answers that question.
I just want to build off of Lee's point to say that, yeah, this faculty is amazing. They care so much about student learning, and that when all of this transitioned, they talked to students. They've made changes during courses, to fit our needs and our desires of how we want to see this learning happen still. And I think it's just really important to know that, this faculty is really responsive and really cares about our learning as a student, and that they're here to support you as a student or as a future student. And they want to see your best outcomes within the industry.
So if I can just say to the people who are in the room, please take advantage of this opportunity while you have faculty here to ask any questions that you might have about the program. They are the experts, so they can answer anything at all that you may be wondering about. Is anyone interested in the concurrent education program? That's where you get the teaching degree alongside the outdoor rec degree. Ashley is. So Ashley, do you know how that works with teachables and student teaching and things like that for the education part of the degree? Well, aren't you glad I asked then? So basically the 2 degrees are done simultaneously with a heavy emphasis on the outdoor rec degree at the beginning and a total emphasis on the teaching degree at the end, so the last 2 years. So depending on what grades you want to teach, if you want to teach primary school, you don't need any specific teachables. If you want high school, you need to pick 2 teachables. Outdoor rec students typically have, it's called environmental science / geography. That's usually their first teachable, and then you would have to pick up at least 5 credits in that area, which you'll get way more than 5 because outdoor rec credits count towards that. And then you would need a second teachable with a minimum of 3 credits in the second teachable, unless it's something like French or music, in which case you would need 5 in those as well. Did that answer your
Can
question?
I just want to also emphasize that in talking about the teachables, the program structure actually is set up, and we do, while Lakehead does have its own student advising, which is called Student Central, and those folks are so wonderful. We love them. They help us out and answer so many hard questions. We also do a lot of our own advising in-house. So we have 2 faculty member and a staff member, 2 of them dedicated for each year of our program. So somebody advises first year students, or 2 people advise first year, second year, third year, fourth year. And our 4th year advisor is one of our technologists. So she's a field skill-based instructor and works with instructors in our classes, which we didn't actually talk about. We should have. Maybe I'll talk about that next. Anyway, so Alexa is her name, and Alexa does a wonderful job helping students figure out if they've got what they need because they're about to graduate. And Alexa, like me, is also a graduate of the Bachelor of Education at Lakehead University, and so she understands that program as well. And as I said, a lot of our outdoor recreation grads go into what is called the OE3 program, which is the Outdoor Environmental Experiential Education degree program, which is a high school program, but it is frequently a cohort that is has a lot of outdoor recreation graduates in it. So Student Central can definitely help with the understanding the education qualifications, but as long as you planning in advance and setting yourself up to choose the right courses, you will absolutely have the teachables that you need at the high school level. I don't see any other active questions, so I do want to emphasize this role of technologists, which we do have in our programs. We call them techs. You're welcome, Ashley. The techs in our program are really amazing educators and outdoor recreationists. They're just phenomenal. They have amazing breadth and depth of knowledge in terms of field-based skills, and also end up basically functioning in a co-teaching role in a class. And so you frequently will end up with 2 instructors, a faculty member and a technologist in your classes, even if it's not a super field intensive course. And that provides a really interesting and collaborative learning environment. And yeah, I think that is a really unique thing about this program as well, is the role of the technologist and their sort of competencies. I was mentioning earlier that Rodney, one of our technologists, is rebuilding this Voyageur canoe. Like, how many people can rebuild a Voyageur canoe? Not that many, but Rodney can, because he's amazing. So we have this really wonderful balance amongst our faculty and staff. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful.
And Ashley, I noticed that I was the one on the other end of Facebook when you were inquiring earlier. So hello, I'm glad you were able to attend the seminar. But if anybody has any program specific questions, if you want to get a hold of us, probably the easiest email that you can see here is orpt@lakeheadu.ca, and that email will get to someone who can answer your questions. If you want to connect with us on Facebook or Instagram, that's a way of staying connected. So if they have program specific requests or questions about, like, what courses do I take, or I'm kind of deciding between this course or this program, we can help you with those decisions. And so feel free to get a hold of us, and we'll make the time to connect with you to help you with that decision making.
Morgan, I saw your question in the chat and I pushed the wrong button and moved it to the answers column. But I did see it about transportation. No, you do not transport yourself. We are responsible for your transportation. It's part of the planning of all the excursions that are further afield, that you would be transported there either in a van or on a bus, depending on where you're going. We do have a truck as well, and in a COVID context, all of that happens. It depends just how many rentals we have to get and that sort of thing. There may have been some excursions this winter that were in the Thunder Bay area, so within sort of 15 minutes, that students may have been driving themselves to, but no, typically we transport you there. And that would have, if that was happening this winter, I think that would have been a COVID adaptation. Is that fair, Kelsey?
Yeah, so I took a field-based course in the fall, and yeah, it was rare. We had to transport ourselves, and that was purely because of COVID, and we were asked to transport ourselves within our bubbles. And that was, yeah, but it was really well communicated and things like that.
Yeah, and that would be an exceptional circumstance, and certainly it would not be required of you to have a vehicle to do that. And yeah, we would transport you there. I'm seeing another question. I'm seeing two. So there's one in the chat that I think Alex reposted, which is, does anyone know of someone who has studied HBOR? You're looking at two of them right here. Julie's a grad, and Kelsey is a soon-to-be grad. And I certainly know many more people. And then another question, do you have to take more classes when you do a double major compared to just, so yes and no. It's not that you have to take more classes, it's that if you're taking, depending on which double degree you're taking, and they're not all exactly the same, you end up having less electives and less flexibility. So you have to be a bit more of a planner to be thinking through your choices, but you still have electives built into your degree program. We still want you to be well-rounded. We still want you to be able to take a course that you're interested in, even if it's not in ORPT, or let's say you're doing the ORPT in gender and women's studies. We still want you to be able to take a geography or an Indigenous studies course or French languages course. So you do have options there, and most social science degrees, all of the social science degrees tied to the HBOR have that flexibility. So you just have to be a little bit more of a planner, but we will also let you know as part, or Student Central will let you know as part of that academic advising what you should be definitely registering for as part of your degree program, and then where your electives are. Thanks, Alex. You're good in the chat.
I think it's also important to mention that the concurrent education is the 6-year program, whereas the other double degree options are 4-year programs, which is really amazing. You're literally walking out with 2 degrees in 4 years.
Yes, that's a very good point. So yeah, when you do the concurrent program, you do your 3 or 4 year degree. Without HBOR, it's a 4-year degree, and then the Bachelor of Education is a 2-year degree. What you get from doing concurrent is you get, and the calendar will indicate all of this, but the entrance average is lower if you're in the concurrent education to get into the Bachelor of Education than if you were to come at it from another program outside of the university. And also you get a lot of those electives and more background in education classes as you go along. So you kind of tick off some of the electives, whereas people in the professional year will have to take all those courses that you may have already taken.
I think another important part to mention about ORPT is a lot of people feel like they're not kind of a wrecker enough, or enough of that kind of stereotype. And we really just want to convey the message that there isn't a stereotype. You know, everyone is welcome in our community, and every level and every recreation activity is welcome in our community. And I think that's just really important, that you don't have to be kind of that, you know, stereotypical hardcore dreadlocks, that type of thing, to be welcome and to be really a big part of our community.
We also welcome you if you're hardcore. We were talking about this before the session tonight, and we really just wanted to emphasize there is no, as Kelsey said, there is no one way to be or no one person that encompasses this program. And I think that at the heart of this program is diversity and a desire to meet people who are different and think dynamically and want to connect with people, and like that is the real spirit of the program. So if any of you are thinking like, oh, I don't know if I've got the expedition experience to be part of this program, like that's just not, we will give you the tools you need to thrive in the program. And if you have a ton, that is so great, and we can't wait for you to come and share with us what you know, and also challenge yourself in other ways. Maybe you have not thought about tourism before, or the way parks work, or other things. There's always a way that you can be challenging yourself in this program, whether it's skills or theory. I think it's just really dynamic and wonderful. And I did see that there was someone from Nova Scotia here, and I want you to know that I've just moved back to Thunder Bay from almost 5 years in Cape Breton. So I'm not sure who that was. It said they were from Nova Scotia, but we can, if you end up here, I could love to talk to you about all the things I miss about the Maritimes.
Can I just see, can the students please type in the chat if you've already accepted your offer and are definitely coming? Or who's still thinking about it?
No pressure.
Way to go, Alyssa, you'll love it.
While we're waiting for that, I just want to emphasize to folks that we are, as Julie said, we're happy to connect with you in a lot of ways, via email, social media, any questions that you have, we're really happy to answer them. So we know making, a choice about universities is a big decision. And so we're really happy. And as Alex sort of prompted, we're happy to answer like big and small questions. If something seems really trivial and you feel like, I don't know if I want to ask that, it's embarrassing. Like, it's not embarrassing. Please ask the big and small questions. We have, folks here who are experts in this program, but then also in the broader university as well. So yeah, feel free.
And another thing I like to ask students, are you at all a little leery about the distance that people seem to think that Thunder Bay is on the moon, when really it's only an hour and a half flight from Toronto? And with, once we go back to normal, there's 3 airlines, Porter, Air Canada, WestJet, that service Thunder Bay. So there's about 12 flights a day from morning till night. So it's very, very accessible. They're not that expensive. And for all you students coming out of high school, we have the travel bursary of $800, which almost everybody gets, which you can use towards your flights. And the other thing is, I don't know if people know, but there is a fall reading week as well as a winter reading week. So you come up after Labor Day, and a month later, you have 10 days off. You've got the week of Thanksgiving plus the 2 weekends on either end. So if you're feeling a bit homesick, you can go home and have some of mom's cooking, and by the end of that week, you'll be dying to come back up. Then you have usually a 2 to 3 week break around the Christmas holidays. Another 10-day reading week in February, and classes end at the beginning of April, and exams end towards the end. So you're off for 4 whole months a year. May, June, July, and August. So the university year just flies by.
Those are very good.
No one answered me. Is the distance something that's, scaring you a little bit? Because I know typically that is one of the reasons people don't consider Lakehead.
More the cold than the distance. Where are you from? Where are you from, Alyssa? I forget. I'm sorry. I saw at the top. You're from Oshawa. Okay, I was going to say, if you're the one from Ottawa, you don't have to be afraid. I don't think, the winters, they're cold, but we teach you that like the you're only cold if you're not properly dressed. So, and I think it'll help. It'll help you have a better, being at Thunder Bay will help you have a better relationship with winter, honestly. I think, because so many people here are so active in the winter time and engage in so much, even like not in the outdoor rec community. This is just a very active winter community, Thunder Bay and the surrounding area, that people will get you excited about being outside in the winter time. Yes, we definitely have winter here though. there's no escaping it, but I think we'll teach you to love it.
Well, one thing that's nice about the winter though in Thunder Bay, and I'm from Southern Ontario, so I hear what you're saying, and it was something that was a concern of mine. Thunder Bay is the sunniest place east of Winnipeg, and I think that's one thing that whenever it's really cold here, it's also really sunny, and it is a really kind of happy cold, if you can say that. So it is, you just get these beams of sunlight coming in, and it's a way to escape that cold. And we can really enjoy the cold too as well. It's the amount of snow we have. Like, I'm still looking out my window. I have a lot of snow. In town, there's not so much. I live just outside of Thunder Bay, but the opportunities for skiing, like we sometimes even start skiing in October and continue skiing into March and April. So if you like outdoor recreation, this is a place to be. All right, so in town, it's not so snowy. Out just about 20 minutes north of the city, we've still got ski trails open.
Yeah. Julie lives in the snow belt, which is really exciting. A really interesting part of Thunder Bay's culture, which you'll probably learn about in land relations, in addition to the Anishinaabe culture of this area, is the folks who came here from Finland in the early 1900s as part of the logging industry. And the Finnish community here is still Finnish culture is very much a part of the culture in Thunder Bay. And there's a huge culture around saunas, and there's a couple of public ones. Lots of people have them in their basements or at their cottages, which we call camps up here. And so sauna culture, if you don't like winter, then you want to know someone who has a good sauna, or head to Kangas, which is one of the public places, because there's nothing that warms you up in the winter quite like that.
And having said that, we just had one of the warmest winters that I can ever remember. We only had a 2-week period, not even 2 weeks, it was about 10 days in February that were that -40 sunny cold that Julie was talking about. The rest of the time, I've been playing tennis for the last 4 days outside and riding my bike, which is really unheard of for the month of March. So I don't know, do you guys cover climate change as part of the program, and how outdoor activities are going to have to adapt to that?
Yeah, there's a huge environmental emphasis in the program, and conversations around climate change and the impact of climate change on not only sort of the tourist industry, but also, just us as human beings in the world, what that means in our environmental and social responsibility. There is a great emphasis on the program just in general in social justice topics and equity, and it's certainly a passion of mine as well as a researcher and as an instructor. So yeah, I see Trudy saying it seems fun to be so far away. You're like me. I'm from Thunder Bay, and when I did my undergrad, I went away because I wanted to be far away, and now I've spent the rest of my life in Thunder Bay. So there's sometimes something about it, a change of scene that feels really good.
Does anyone have any questions about residents or anything about the university in general? Thank you for coming, Daniel. We're just here to answer questions. So I think the most of the presentation is over. So unless people have questions, we're the last presentation of the day. Normally we have to stick to an hour time limit because there's presentation after presentation. But thanks for coming, and we'll see you in September.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Kelsey.